activities. Hence today's chat, online safety at home. Our panelists will share with us their experiences navigating the online environment by highlighting the challenges they face within the home environment around issues and solutions relating to their purchase and use of the right electronic gadgets through to access to online services, entertainment, and education. In order to fully engage you on the topic, we will be joined by no other people than those that make up the home: aunties, parents, guardians, uncles, and children, and very few subject matter experts. That's the essence of this discussion. Very, very few subject matter experts. I've told our experts here that they should try and come down to our level so that we will understand it. And because we have children joining us as part of this, it is very important for me to let you know that at ADRH, we believe that it is important to hear our children, but also protect their identity. And so for purposes of this meeting, all the children panelists that are participating today will be speaking to us and sharing their experiences, but you're not going to see their faces. But these are real people that are every day using the internet from their homes, and they will share with us their own experiences. At this time, permit me to invite, because it's a fireside chat, we're going to go around, and permit me to invite all the panelists to just quickly introduce themselves. They can tell us their names and what they do. I will start with the people that matter in the home, which are the children. And so I will call on Fred and Ella, and don't mention anything apart from your first names and your age, and tell us what subjects you love and why you love the internet, So we'll start with the children. Fred and Ella, kindly introduce yourselves, and then we'll move on to Albie. Then we can go ahead and listen to the other panelists. Fred and Ella.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fred, and my sister's name is Ella. I'm 14, she's 11, as you might have seen. Well, basically just students in today's modern age. Subjects I really enjoy are English literature and sports, as any typical team boy.
And subjects I enjoy are math.
I don't really get to enjoy games as much, but we are still going on. Well, we'll do what you have to do. Thank you.
Albie, do you want to quickly introduce yourself? No full name, just your first name, your age, what class you're in, what you love the most?
Okay, so I'm Alberta, I'm 16 years, and I'm a second-year science student. I love biology and physics, and I also love the instruments. And I don't really use the internet that much because I'm in school, so yeah, that's it.
You tell us a bit more.
Take your microphone.
Awo, please.
Hi.
Kindly introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Awo. I work with Child Online Africa, and I'm a mother too.
Thank you. Elizabeth?
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Olympia. I run a restaurant among other occupations. I'm a mother of 4 and of various age groups, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Linda?
Hi, everyone. Greetings from Nairobi. It's a really good evening, Nairobi. It's 8 p.m. It's been a long week, a long, exciting week, and I'm really happy to join you. I'm a lawyer. I founded the Lawyers Hub in Kenya and also run the Africa Law Tech Association. I'm really happy to be here. I am a mom as well. So I have 2 kids who are 4 and 6, both girls. They were supposed to be here on. I hope at some point they can burst in and, join you guys as well. I'm really excited for this, and I know we're going to learn from each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Hector, you're
Hi, everyone.
mute.
Okay.
Hi.
Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. My name is Hector. I'm a a security consultant by day, but I have various interests, and one of them is in child online protection topics, and then also other topics when it comes to security for kids when they are online. Yeah.
Thank you, Hector. Desmond?
Hi, my name is Desmond Israel. I'm a privacy and information security practitioner. I'm also a lawyer, and I'm a father of 4 girls.
Wow, so it's going to be a very exciting thing. I wish we really had real fire to sit around and have this chat. But meanwhile, wherever you're joining us from, grab your cup of tea, cocoa, coffee, water, or whatever your fancy is. No alcohol though, even though it's a Friday for most of you. Relax and let's have some fun here. A few housekeeping rules for the panelists. When you're not speaking, let's try as much as possible to mute our cameras. So I'm very, very excited. And I would want to start with the children here. Fred and Ella, maybe you can give us your opinion around this. What kind of online gadgets do you use? What kind of electronic gadgets do you use for your online activities?
Okay, so basically what we usually use is the laptop, but sometimes we might switch to the modern PC that comes with the web camera.
Okay, and who normally buys them? Are you the one who tells your mom what kind of gadgets to buy for you?
Yeah, we ask her and she gets it for us.
You ask her, so what, do you know the make or the type? I know I have been asked by a child that they want an iPhone 10, and at the time I was really shocked as soon as it came out. I didn't know what it was. So I just want to find out, do you really go to the extent of telling them the kind of technology you want or the kind and the type of gadget you want? How detailed do you go with your parents?
If we really want them to get it for us, we must do our best to research about it, or it's not going to come.
So what do you do?
So usually we do research about it. We go online, we research about it, checking the specifications, its features, everything. Then we might show it to them that, oh, mommy, see, we have classes, so we'd like you to get this for us. It's very useful. It has this. It comes with these functions and so on.
You end up telling them, speaking to them about the features that are usually, will enable them get it. Meanwhile, at the back of your mind that you want to get the most stylish phone, or you want to be the person that has the coolest gadgets in your class. I just want to really understand what you do with mommy.
Yeah, that's it.
What? You haven't answered me. What do you go for? What are you telling? Are you telling them the full story, or you're telling them what they want to hear about the gadget that they should get for
you? We tell them what they want to hear.
Okay, Albi, I think I want to bring you in at this point. Do you have any say on the kind of gadgets that your parents get for you, and what do you normally tell them when it comes to that?
Well, they usually buy the gadgets for me, but I tell them the features of the gadgets I need. Maybe if I need a Core i5 or a Core i9 laptop or something, because I really need a gadget that has fast internet connection so that I can search for stuff for school. Because when it comes to research, I don't really need gadgets that have slow network, because it actually brings my work down. It slows down my work. So yeah.
But as a parent myself, lately I have experienced that, my son ends up opening so many complicated applications that slow the machines down. So sometimes I tend to think that you're going for machines that are a bit more expensive than we can afford. What will you say about that? Because you're talking about high speed and all of that. I think you even know a lot more than I know about my computers.
Okay, so maybe your son downloads apps that contain viruses. That's why they normally slow his computer down. Yeah. Maybe the computer can contain that amount of apps too. So it makes his computer very slow.
Okay, I think I want to move to the parents here. And Eliza, I want to start with you. What kind of gadgets are you buying for your children to engage online, and what do you look out for?
All right, so as I mentioned earlier, my children range from 2 years to 22. There's 5 of them in all. Now, the 2, 4, 6 use tablets. There's 3 of them are 2 years, 4 years, and 6 years. Coincidentally, before COVID happened, prior to COVID, we were already using the tablets because the school has some courses that require the children to have digital knowledge and teaching apps that would help them in school. They are very fast and savvy with the tablets. These are Samsung tablets. It was a regular Tab E to start with. Along the line, Tab E became difficult to use. Some of the operational systems do not access the educational apps, so you have to upgrade. That's another cost setback for parents because you have to keep upgrading the tablets. It's scary what they can do on the tablet. And there was this situation where the children are able to access certain apps, and certain apps behave differently when a parent is monitoring and supervising the child. And I don't know if it's a set virus, but it's really not safe for the children. They are able to access whatsoever because you have them on YouTube Kids, but they are so good at navigating the entire interface that they go out of YouTube Kids and go to the real YouTube because they know that one doesn't give them access to this one. And once you leave them, so you are stuck like a police person on the tablet. There needs to be a little more security towards their use of interaction with their gadgets. It's really scary.
Thank you, Liz. I think that the security experts will tell us a bit more what we can do to make sure that they are safe. Linda, what kind of gadgets are you getting for your children, and how free are they to tell you what kind of gadgets they want?
Okay. So my kids are pretty young, and so they don't have a choice. They can talk about stuff they want, but it's very limited. I started off by buying a tablet, though this is very cheap. Sorry, like affordable tablets. They're about $25 equivalent. So we're traveling to the coast and we needed them entertained. And so we bought that and had some content on it. But we realized that the charging system, the charging ports would fail. It wasn't as stable. So they failed. And then during COVID, the school went online. And so they asked us to buy particular gadgets from a specific supplier. So we bought some tablets there. The tablet comes in with a keyboard as well. And so you can type and do things like that. So when they had the tablets, it was really personal because now they start really owning it. I've seen the difference between a child using your phone and them using a laptop or maybe watching something from the TV. They start to become very, personalized. They feel like it's theirs. They have control, compared to a television where they have to actually look for the remote and change it, and things like that. So we felt that it wasn't really good for them. And so we switched now to normal laptops. We found that normal laptops are very, good for school. They also learn to type. They know how the keyboard looks like, the big keyboard because we started learning, computers with very archaic sort of keyboards. So they love it. They have figured out, several things. Especially the younger one who's 4 really loves computers. So she's figured out Zoom. She logs into school herself. She's able to also take screenshots. She knows what the spacebar means. They're trying to type as well. So I think they've tried to learn really quickly. Then they discovered on my laptop there's Microsoft 365, online, and so they don't want to type anymore. They want to dictate, and then it writes on its own. So I don't know how I'm going to teach them eventually where Z is and where F is on the keyboard, because they've realized there's actually a shortcut. Then they also keep asking for things that have, speech to text, where you simply just give instruction like Alexa, play Baby Shark, so they discovered that as well. My younger one doesn't know how, they still don't know the spelling of different things, but they use the Google search to just speak and say, find this song. I think it's such a great hack for kids. I wish I had such a childhood where I didn't need to know how to spell. I hope they don't grow up to be dumb, but those are some of the things that, they're doing with technology and gadgets. They are young,
Wow.
but I think they're very curious on.
Wow. And well, you're a parent as well, and you're into online child protection. What kind of gadgets are out there? What kind of gadgets are you getting for your kids, and why?
I mostly, they have the tablets, but then you don't have access to the tablet until I give you the permission to do so. And in getting them the tablet, I made sure I didn't get one which would take a SIM card. So it's a Wi-Fi connection. So until I grant you access, forget it. The next thing they use is the laptop, which they use for their classes, online classes. But before introducing them to all of that, I enroll them to what we call the digital citizenship program. So at least they learned the 8 digital skills for being online, just for them to have the resilience. And it played out quite interestingly during one of the classes where the bigger one had a link shared in his class. Because of the knowledge is acquired, the first thing he did was to check the source of the link, so the name of the one who sent it. It turns out to be a promotion for slimming tea and a few other things, which he thought was inappropriate content. So immediately he drew my attention to it that, no, mommy, this link says sign up everyone, and the person's name is not in his class list. So how come? So immediately I called the class teacher, and to my surprise, he went to send them the lessons in a cafe. So the cafe attendant, in order to get following for his YouTube channel, decided to take advantage of the space to do what he did. So for me, that was sort of caution, and also kind of made me appreciate the conversation on resilience building, capacity building, and everything else as far as their engagement with the device is concerned. And of course, they use the speech to text, and sometimes you are here and you are hearing them saying all manner of things at the same time. They do that and check for themselves. It's fun. The game is there, but then I don't lose sight of the security bit. So yes, it's necessary we having this conversation. It's necessary we highlight the relevant or available resources which we could make good use of as parents.
Okay, to our attendees, just to make sure the chat session is there. At the appropriate time, we may elevate a few of you to ask your questions as well, but you can type in your questions in the chat column, and then it will be brought to our attention so that we can address them to the panelists. So Desmond, you first, and then Hector. you are a parent and an ICT or what, cybersecurity guru, right? So when it comes to all these things, gadgets that we use for online activities around the home, what should we be looking out for? And even though, you know, there's been a focus on the children, I want us to, of course, the children are very important within our home ecosystem, but I want us to look slightly broader and talk about the home generally and gadgets, because we have Internet of Things, right? I know my TV has been listening to me. I'm very sure of that. You know, and don't call me skeptical. So tell us, what should we be looking out for, and how do we save ourselves, you know, and make sure that our online activities still create a very safe and safe space in the home? You're muted.
Thank you. So like everybody else, the first thing you want to do is ascertain the age of your users. If you are building a home lab, so all the devices you spoke about, TVs, refrigerators, laptops, phones, they'll all connect to a particular Wi-Fi. For instance, at home, I'm dealing with about 10 different devices connecting to a Wi-Fi in the house, from about 3 to 4 laptops to mobile phones, tablets for the kids. I have my own lab that I work with, TVs that are connecting to the same Wi-Fi. So the issue here is every gadget that you are acquiring, that needs to be part of your home network. Forgive me, but I have to say this. Every device is a potential cyber risk, because so long as you're connected to the internet, there is always the possibility that something will slip through, especially if we are not being careful. So you have to be circumspect in how many do you need them in the first place. And when you need to ascertain that first before you now begin to look at the security that will come with it. So the basics. In my case, every device that I buy, I would have to change that device name to a name that I can identify on the Wi-Fi. So I don't like things like Android device, Galaxy XYZ. No. If the phone is for Abina, is Abina's phone. That's how the gadgets are named. And then when they are connected to the Wi-Fi, for those of us who are using, I'm not going to mention any brands here, but those of us using the routers, the wireless routers from the telecom companies, you need to dig in a bit further. They have a bit of security configurations in there for parental control, for device access and all that. These things are relevant. They are important. I mean, I can't even understate it any other way. You need to go in there, for instance, ensure that devices that are connecting to your network are devices that you have allowed to connect to your network. Okay, so access to these gadgets itself is a risk, because some few meters away from your house, you don't know who else is smart enough to hack your Wi-Fi and be on the Wi-Fi with you. So that aspect of security is important. Then we deal with the use of the devices. So child devices should have child locks, especially when you are using, like Eliza said, it should rather request that Google Kids Place than Google itself, because that kind of thing you can slip through from Google itself it creates, you know, a whole lot of anxiety, online anxiety about what the kids see and sort of adventure they want to go on to see more. So it's important to look at content filtering as well for the devices as they are being used. The next recommendation is not about being tech savvy, but it's advantageous if you are a bit tech savvy, because then you can actually acquire platforms that allows you to monitor the devices, especially for the very underage, whether they are laptops, whether they are phones. And I use one platform to do my own sort of monitoring. Maybe as we go on, I would share my screen and just show you a bit of the things you can find, if including when the device gets missing. You know, you can actually track the device, and these are third-party tools. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is, Buying the device itself needs some sort of thinking. It needs some sort of assessment as to whether or not we need to get the device. Who are we getting it for? If it's for a child, you might want to look at a child-safe device. If you are subscribing to a service, you might also want to look at the options for the service. So online learning, there are some online learning that actually comes with specific age requirements. So you need to look at those things. You just don't subscribe to online learning because you want to subscribe to online learning. Look, the attackers or whoever, the bad guy who you want to perceive because of this conversation, which is about online safety, they don't care. They don't care. They jump into every single space that their technical skill could possibly get them to, from educational platforms to entertainment platforms to accessing service provider to online commerce, payments, everything that is online is hackable. I'm borrowing that word. So the conversation is more important. And that's why it excites me that we are having it with parents and we have children on here. You could see that our first child speaker mentioned about specification and features. This is the thing that drives most of the purchases, not only for the kids, even for the parents. Maybe those ones are not on this call, but even for the parents, the features is what drives them. It's what can I afford? If I can afford more, I'll buy an iPhone 10. But the question is, in the purchase of the iPhone 10, have you looked at the security features you can initiate? And it's also about negotiation. I don't think you can police your kids around. It's not possible. I mean, half of the time I'm not home. But if I come back and I need to check up stuff, I'm going to check up stuff. But I will share with you what is more important at home for me. That when my kids find something, glaring, more dangerous, they consider that, no, Daddy has spoken about these things before. We've had this conversation. We actually saw this in a video and he explained to us, they're going to come to me. And I have been, my child has been a victim of online bullying and sexual assault because someone added her to a WhatsApp group she didn't authorize for, until I taught her how to apply privacy features on WhatsApp so that only family can see her. So it's a going process. It's about negotiations, it's about knowing what the kids are doing. Policing them is out of the picture. Negotiating with them, let them understand the dangers is a bigger step to dealing with that issue. And finally, the apps download and the cost involved and all that, it forms part of the first decision making in acquiring any gadget for the house, not just for the kids, because I've shown you that little Wi-Fi you have at home is a potential risk for everybody. The Wi-Fi, the one that TV is connected, refrigerator is connected, 3-4 laptops are connected. It's for convenience, and we cannot wish it away. But there's a security issue that starts from there. There's a safety issue that starts from there. There's also a safety issue that starts from the use of the devices themselves and the content that's accessed. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Desmond will definitely come back to all these things, especially when we're looking at using our online entertainment, looking at online education, so that we can go more deeply into these issues. Hector, please, Desmond has used enough technical languages here. My head is even hurting. I heard some hacking. I don't even know what that is. We are by the fireside. So you people, you have to help me. I don't want any long technical words here. I even realized that the children know more than me, talking about computer features and all of that. I have to go and ask what features I need to. I only know what I want, but I don't know what features to go for. So we're coming back to you. From what Desmond is saying, these gadgets are essentially the equipment that we are getting, to enable us interact online. That is where the whole conversation starts from, really. So from your perspective, what should we be getting, if at all? And what should we look out for? Because I'm confused, from following up from what Desmond is saying, I don't know where to start from. I recently acquired some service, and I don't even think I was told that they had some parental control features anywhere. And I don't even know where to start from if I'm pointed to. So talk to us about what we should look out for. What are the kind of questions we should be asking when we're even getting all these gadgets?
So Desmond has said almost everything on my mind, but then I would add a little bit. So I'll take it from the point of view of where or when you're buying the device. So there's one challenge. That's one challenge that we rarely look at addressing. So a parent goes to town, the kids say, okay, I want this device, I want that device. And the parent decides to go to town. There's a decision on whether to buy a new device or a slightly used device. Okay, so if the parents wants to now buy a new device out of the box, the parent needs to know that I need to buy this device from a place that is recognized. So you don't just buy the device from anywhere, any shop that you see in town. The challenge with that is most of the devices, let's say about 80, 90% of all our mobile devices come out of China. And most of the time, some of the devices have preloaded malware or viruses, like Albie said in the beginning. And these viruses have been installed on the applications on the phone. Even when the phone is new, it's not the box has not been opened yet. And all these viruses are from the factory. And what this malware do, or what this virus they do, is they are able to like record you. They are able to they basically infect the phone so that when you're using them, they are able to record your camera. They are able to turn on your mic and all that. So from the point of view of buying a device, as parents, we need to know where we get these devices from. Within our environment, let's take Ghana, let's take Africa. Most of the time, we decide to, because of how expensive new devices are, we decide to buy these devices from a secondhand used, like places where they sell these devices. So, for example, in Ghana, when you talk about Circle, you go there, you want to buy a device, they can get you a home use device. When you are buying such a device, you need to know that this device has been used by somebody before. It might have details on there that are not yours. It might have apps on there that you don't know anything about. Those apps could end up being your downfall. Those apps could end up being what could be stealing your data, what could be lowering your security. So it's very, very critical at the point of buying all these devices. We need to know and confirm where we buy those devices. And we need to be very sure. If you are not sure, just rely on the big companies that are well known. The companies that have a warranty, the companies that could give you a guarantee if anything happens. Otherwise, if you just buy it from anywhere, then it's a loophole there. And the scary thing is, for some of these pre-installed malware or pre-installed viruses, even on the new phones, they are unremovable. You cannot take them off. And unless you flash the phone, unless you sort of like decide to, when I say flash, you rewrite the operating system, the software on the phone, and install a new one. And there's a reason why they've done it so, because of collection of data, customer data, collection of user data, PI, like private data and all that. So we need to be very careful as a parent in deciding where to get those phones. When we get the phones too, or the laptops and all that, when we bring it home, we need to make sure that the security configurations on the phone are not left in a default state. So when you get a new phone, when you get a new laptop, there are certain things that you need to do on the phone or on the device that would be suited to your environment. So I buy a new phone, I take it home. When I start the phone up, it will ask me to put in a password, like set a password. Sometimes the password that it would ask me to set, the password might be just 6 digits. So, and it will only be numbers. But then some phones allow you to set a stronger password pin on your phone. But because it's a phone that has just come out of the box, it will allow you to set just a short password. So it will be good to always make sure that you do not rely on the default configurations on the phone when it's out of the box. You need to make sure that you change all the configurations and make it and let it be suited to your needs, to the needs of your family, the needs of your home, the needs of your kids, because you're trying to protect them, you're trying to protect yourself. So that is also very, very important when it comes to the configurations on the devices. All these things are good because we need to do all these things because at the end of the day, if you get a device and it's from a malicious place, what you are doing is that you are giving some bad person somewhere the chance to have a free way into your home. And we don't see it as, it's not as, on the surface of it, you think it's just a normal phone with malware on it, or it just takes your data and that's it. But then there are now new trends of cyber attacks. We have attacks like threats like sextortion, whereby somebody emails you and says, I have your nude pictures, or I have your nude videos, because you left your camera on and it was recording, and I was able to hack into your phone and I got all that. The person might be lying, the person might be telling the truth. Most of the time, if the person is telling the truth and they truly have that information about you, it's because your configuration, security settings on your devices have not been tightened, have not been strong. So they've been able to start up your machine remotely, your device remotely, and then put on your camera, put on your mic, and they've recorded you out of the blue, and you don't know about it. So it is key to make sure that our devices are not in the default configuration stages when we get them. It's also key for us to get those devices from accredited places. If you are in doubt, if your children say, we want this, we want an iPhone 10 or an iPhone 9 or Google Tab A, and you don't know anything about it, it will be good to speak to somebody who is techie, somebody who is who is good with technology. Speak to them about it. Let them give you their recommendations in order for you to be able to get the right devices for yourself and then for your kids. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's also, I mean, from where I'm sitting, it's so overwhelming. But I just want to ask Kobe, and unfortunately, Albie has a class, so she has to leave us. It's really unfortunate. I really wanted to get her viewpoint on this, but I'm sure we will have her by another fireside chat where we'll just be talking to children about online child protection, which will come soon. But Fred and Ella, I just want to ask you all these things. You've heard from your parents, you've heard from the experts. What really do you know about security when it comes to your online activities, whether you are using your gadgets for education or entertainment? Are you aware about some of the risks that Hector and Desmond have mentioned at all? And how do you protect yourselves? Is it your parents that do it for you, or you know more about it than your parents, and you have to, find your way around them? So Fred, after you speak, and then you allow Ella to also share her viewpoint on this.
Okay. So we've heard these things many times in ICT class. So the best thing for me, what I usually do is going online. There are many applications you can download. They serve as virtual private networks. When you use these VPNs, they completely isolate your computer as best as they can. So using them, you're able to navigate the web safely, visit various sites without them storing your data.
The children are even being more technical. I'm even confused. I don't even think the parents here understand what VPNs are, but I don't know about these apps. Hector, what is he talking about? And is it really safe? Because I don't trust anything online.
Yeah, so he's talking about let's put it in a practical example. So you want to travel from point A to point B, but then you don't want anybody to see you going from point A to point B along the way. So what you do is you create a tunnel, which encapsulates you, which hides you. So the only thing that you see is you are from point A to point B. So that is basically like a VPN. The VPN basically protects.
Yeah, but isn't that a risk? The truth is that they are not creating these tunnels. These tunnels have been created by others, and they are using them. So my point is that who are the people that have created these tunnels, and how do we as parents know that our children are navigating, because I have no way of knowing where they are, and it even makes it more risky for us parents to have some kind of visibility and transparency around their actions. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. It's a valid fear. The VPNs, most of them are not VPNs that we would advise that as security people would advise that we use. Most of them would leak your data. They will leak your logs. Some of them too, because they are free. Free things on the internet are not always, they do not always come with all the proper features. So the free VPN, I don't know which VPNs Kobe uses, but then if it's a free VPN, the probability that they are not properly protecting your data is very high because it's a free service. What they are doing is they are collecting your data and they are selling it off. That is how they fund what that VPN. That is how, yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
But they are paid.
Ella. Okay. No, yeah. Just go ahead.
But they are paid services, paid VPN services that would give you 100% guarantee. We do not share your data with anybody. We do not leak our logs. We are not in cahoots with maybe the FBI or the CIA. Yeah. But then in some countries, some governments block VPNs. They do not allow them to use it. Countries like China, and then countries that have autocratic regimes. So even though in a way, from a security point of view, a VPN is good. It's good for both privacy and security. It's not always the best choice. And that is because most of the VPNs are not the right tools. They've not been written properly. And so your fear is right. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Ella, so what about you? Are you just following your brother, following him through his tunnel, or you have your own idea about how to protect yourself? Please share a bit more with me. What do you do when you're going online? How do you keep yourself safe? Are you aware of some of the risks that our experts have mentioned here?
Yes, so whenever I'm using any gadget, a laptop or something, I always use a specific browser because there are a lot of scammers on the internet. and they can put viruses on your phone and steal your data. So I use a specific browser.
Thank you. And Desmond, just to respond to how safe is that? You know, because I'm hearing the children talk about security, and I'll come to the parents in terms of how they are really assimilating all of the things you guys have said, which I'm very scared of. You know, the children seem to even have much more understanding on how to navigate the internet in a safer way. But I'm still a bit worried. You know, a safe browser, is that I don't think based on the things that you've discussed, it's really safe enough. So what more should they be doing?
Okay, so there are privacy browsers. In fact, Google itself has what we call incognito. So people use incognito, hoping that information about them is not tracked. But that could be misplaced, because from what I know, technically, we can still pick information about you even if you are incognito. Google itself can get information about you if you are incognito. So your best bet is you choose a particular privacy browser or privacy enabled browser, which would allow you to sort of like keep your sanity. So what do these browsers do? They are not tracking you. They are avoiding cookies from tracking you. They are not caching data about you as you visit various websites. So that's a very good level of security and appreciation of security. And I'm kind of like excited for her age. She knows such stuff, because that's a very good level of security if she can choose her browser wisely. But what it means to the parents is that if you also want to dig up on what she's doing online, you can't. So that is why
more security for the children, less transparency.
Less transparency for the parents at the far side. So
very well.
Okay, and let me also touch on the VPN, just on the VPN. I also want to crack a myth about VPNs. So VPN is protecting the data as it travels. But if I decide to send you a malware from point A, where you are moving from, to point B, where you are, you're actually going to accept my malware with security. It will be very safe to drop that malware on your box, because it's coming from a VPN. So I just want to say that VPN does not solve our content issue, where we are dealing with what sort of apps are kids downloading, what sort of contents are they picking. I mean, a simple PDF file download can be your doom. Even now, images are getting embedded with the various malwares here and there. I know it will get to the point where we will be asked to give an holistic recommendation to, you know, what would be an appropriate security, because we will not get 100% security. But I just want to say that the use of VPNs, and Hector is 100% right. The parents must assess the VPN being used. And I still support that a technical person should advise whether this VPN service is best breed or not, because there's a whole repository out there. There's a database out there about the VPNs you should and should not use. Some of them are just there to sort of defraud you, for lack of a better word of expression. So VPNs, yes, for the purpose of containing the data that travels within that tunnel, VPNs are good. But if you're going to get attacked from one end to the other, VPNs will not help you.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you, Desmond. But you know that you guys don't come cheap, and you're not readily available and accessible to all parents, you know. So I don't know, hopefully towards the end of this, we'll find a real way to get around this. Linda, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know about you, but tell me, how are you navigating this maze of, you know, especially with your online interaction from home? How are you navigating all these issues that they're bringing up? You know, it tells me that there's really no end in sight. I don't know about you, but tell me how you're navigating this.
Okay, so just an experience that happened with my daughter. I showed her that you could add contacts on Zoom, and then you could message them. So I wanted her to just, you know, message me because they don't have a phone at home. She can send me a message on Zoom and it's instant. Because they use Zoom a lot and they figured out Zoom. So anyway, she started now asking for other people's contacts, like her uncles, aunties, like she needs to message them on Zoom, you know. So she's been adding people and asking me for their email address and then adding them, you know. And she's just learning to type. So she told me, she sends me some things in class. She called me and said, look what this guy is doing. He's sending a message to everyone in class, you know. So there's a lot of learning, I think, going on for them, but they're curious and are learning really fast. I think, what do we do and what have I tried to do? I had an incident that really changed how I look at online security. So I bought a Chromecast by, you know, Google. You just attach it to your television and you're able to watch stuff. It becomes a smart TV. And so one of those days, you know, I was proud that you could, from your bedroom, you simply control what they're watching. So you can put something on your phone, on YouTube, and then cast it on you know, on Chrome, you know, whether you're how many meters away. So you don't have, you know what they're watching, but you're not in the room with them. And you can do the same thing for Netflix. So anyway, it went bad someday, and I totally removed the, so we don't use it at all. I don't like the predictions that come with the smart devices. They know your child better than you know your child. Yeah. And they make certain suggestions for what the child should watch online that you don't want to, you know, be part of that. Also, at some point, they used to watch YouTube on the laptop sometimes. And then, you know, kids don't know how to spell. So sometimes they spell a word and it's actually an obscene word in another language, like Japanese or whatever. And so that result comes up. And so that happened once and I was really disappointed, and I have never let them watch YouTube again because YouTube is so random comparing to Netflix, where you can actually set a specific account and put password, and, you know, put an age, you know, where you can say, no, not more than this particular age. So they can binge watch, but then it's still like similar stuff. The other thing that I don't like YouTube for kids is because YouTube has very short videos. It's like TikTok, where videos are really short. So kids don't want comprehensive stuff. They just want the headlines and they don't want to go into the emotion, what happened. So I see the difference for Netflix, where you have something that's 22, 25 minutes. They go through the motions of that particular episode, compared to YouTube, it's 5 minutes, baby shark, they dance, and then the next one is really slow. So they keep swiping, and they're used to the swiping culture where whatever does not excite them the first few seconds, they swipe past, you know, which is not good for developing your brain capacity, you know. So for their internet, like, because they use, sometimes they use the same laptop to watch Netflix and they use it for school. So what I've done is to have this Chrome extension. It's called Chrome, I think Chrome Block or something. I'll just check it out. But it's a Chrome extension. It's free, that you can block certain websites, and you can also just put the timer. So the school ends at 12:30. So the timer is until 12:35. So when they clear school, they run to the toilet and then they can watch. And then the timer also logs out every 1 hour. So after 1 hour, whatever they type, those websites will not work. So it gives them time to go play. Then they come back and realize, oh my God, now it's working. So they don't know the technology behind why now it's working. They just think it's the Wi-Fi that's not working, you know. But that has helped in that case. I think there's need to be really deliberate with kids. We use VPN as well. But VPN just means that also it gives more content. Like your kid will put a location, like in the US, there's more programming compared to what's available in Africa. And that means that they're actually more at risk to watch things that they should not be, you know, they should not be watching. Someone said that if you want to also not watch, even adults watch certain stuff they should not watch, the best is to use your laptop in an open area. So don't allow your child to go into a bedroom and close the door, you know. Like my mom used to insist, please just do it in the sitting room. You watch in the sitting, we want to see what you're watching, you know. I think that is helpful, so that they don't develop habits behind your back, you know, that you'll be surprised about. And just checking out history. I think I've seen on Google as well, you're able to just create an account and follow through their history as well. You'll be able to just see what are they watching, especially when they're younger. They don't have that sort of control. They don't know how technology works in that case. That's for me what I'd say would work for me. A friend of mine put a phone at home. She said she kept calling her, her house help. She wasn't picking up her calls. She'd say, oh, the phone is off, there's no charge. Then the kids as well would not respond to her. So she puts this traditional telephone in the house. So when it rings, the whole house is like, ring! They have no option but to pick her calls. So she said, rather than give sometimes a teenager a phone and they're not ready for it, just put such a loud phone in the house. Everything stops when it rings and everybody picks up your call. If they want to have friends, they want to call, let them do it the old school way, and I like what, Awo suggested around having a tablet that doesn't have, a SIM slot, that way they don't have to get into that. And just not introducing kids to social media too early. There's a reason why certain websites, most social media websites, the age of majority is actually 12, so that you don't use them before 12. It's important to do that because I see young kids on TikTok, they will not watch a documentary. I want to show you, if they're used to a 1 minute video, please teach them to watch something, the boring stuff. They know how a story is developed, the introduction, and then the end. Others, they get used to TikTok videos that are really fast. In a minute, your point is across. Really, they won't really develop in a really cool way, So I think that's what we can do for the next generation to help them process it. But then also legally, I think we need to be aware of certain laws, because your child can do things online and not understand the ramifications, especially when they're in their teenagehood. They may be texting somebody inappropriately. In Kenya, we have cases where, we have child bullying, online bullying by kids themselves, people from their own class. So just to teach them that you don't abuse anybody from your class, you don't send any nude pictures, I think we don't do that part enough as parents, because we trust that they will not do anything wrong. But it gets terrible when they do something wrong and then they land in the hands of the government, so that's like the extreme that we should not allow, and we need to educate them that there's actually law in this government. And for example, in Kenya now we have the Cybersecurity and Computer Misuse Act that spells out this particular, offenses. So it will be great for your child to actually know that this will not go just against your morals, but also against the government in that particular case.
Wow, thank you. I think because you were touching on the digital literacy, Awo, you have been doing quite a bit around digital literacy, and I want you to hone in on what Linda just said. I mean, how do we really, and I'm not just looking at digital literacy for children, because I am lost. I mean, all these things that I'm hearing, the kind of gadgets, I should be aware of laws. So I just want to have a simple home. I want to be able to have access to my internet. I want to have entertainment. I want my children to enjoy education. I want to enjoy education as well. Why do I have to get all these things crammed up in my head? Isn't it somebody's job to do that? Where do I start from?
Vicky, stop scaring me. Yeah, so here is the thing. From what Hector and Desmond spoke about earlier, it's obvious that we human beings are the weakest link when it comes to security.
Yeah.
So whatever we do either facilitates or encourages a hacker or whoever is targeting us. So it's important that we craft a lifestyle which could help us manage the situation, because again, we cannot run away from it. I think we're discussing the last time, COVID has expedited action on digitization. So whether you like it or yes, thanks to COVID, you're automatically online. That said, in terms of the digital citizenship, I always say that is a lifestyle that we need to cultivate, and it ought to be done deliberately. From the family settings, maybe we should be thinking around having a family strategy to internet use or something like that. Yeah, because techie, the thing is, if the children are exploring on a platform that you are not familiar with, chances are that you might overlook some of the risk factors. But then if we build in them the habit of making right choices, and they know, like Linda said, the implications of some of the actions they take online, it makes it a lot better. And we cannot, I'm emphasizing, we cannot police them all the time, but helping them cultivate the habit for a good lifestyle, a good digital use is very important. We are not saying the children should not collaborate online. Collaboration is one of the skills they need in this dispensation. But collaboration has to be done in a way, in such a way that mommy or daddy is aware of what is happening. So I would say that we use this acronym, TEAMS. TEAMS stands for talking with your child about online safety in general, agreeing with your, engaging the child in whatever space. So if, for instance, your child is 6 years old or 4 years old, and you know very well that he or she might be on YouTube Kids and stuff like that, you explore the site with him or her. Elisa mentioned the fact that the devices are reacting differently when they are with the children alone, and reacting differently when the parents are around. And Desmond and Hector should tell us about the artificial intelligence component of that and the machine learning bit of things. So we can't have too much control, but we can regulate our lifestyles with the device. So again, so from the engagement side, then we come to the agreement. Can we have a conversation? Which sites can I visit? Do I need permission from mommy to get onto another site? Maybe I'm using a Swiggle browser. Do I need permission from mommy to change from Swiggle to something else? Do I need permission from mommy to open a TikTok account? Friendliness with the child will go a long way to helping the child, because again, some of the traumatic conditions they experience online go a long way to affecting their way of life in future. So you see that your child is having a dual life. He or she behaves differently when you are in sight, but differently when you are out of sight. You don't know what is happening. But talking with these children, engaging with them, would open them up, and the conversation will just flow, because you don't want anyone to steal them at their fingertips or by use of a keyboard. The common denominator when it comes to child abuse, it's about a predator looking for one thing or another somewhere, and their experiences are different and unique in their own way, but then it's the same abuse that we're talking about. So after agreeing with the child on what to do and what not to do, and the reason why they are not to do that, just to satisfy their curiosity, you help them create a management system. So we agree that, okay, when you are home, or when you go to town, you don't need to turn on your location. So your location should not be on, or your Bluetooth should not be on at a certain time. And when there's time for updates, can we do that? Or do we need permission to do that? So that is more like you are managing the settings of the device with the child. And that is also building a safety culture in the child inadvertently. So again, so from the management situation, then it's more like a repeated security system. Every month you're going around the same thing, every 2 months or something. So it becomes a lifestyle. So the child is in boarding school and knows very well that my smartphone is showing this, I need to do ABC. So with that, we are good to go. Techie.
So this is very, it's getting, you guys are too complicated for me. I thought you had very simple answers. You're going to point me to a device, you're going to get me a gadget, and I'm free, I'm locked up, my home is safe, my children are safe, I am safe. Liz, do you have any teams in place? Because this, it's like a whole business. I have to have a whole strategic plan and management around my online safety. Do you have any teams in place in your home?
You can't bully us at the fireside, though. We are doing our job.
I've had to adapt quickly, knowing how savvy, they are more tech savvy than we are. Yeah. For instance, they, like I said before, they navigate so easily. So I had to structure them. And fortunately, the younger three are still that young that I'm able to say, no, tablet time is between 12 to 2. But unfortunately, we had COVID and school time is online as well. So school starts at 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So then I have to have someone sitting with them throughout if I am not available, because we have to both have to work as well. So you assign someone during that time because you can't leave them. They have a short concentration span, first of all. Online schooling is very difficult and they just want to go on the games and the dancing and the singing. There are even YouTube children's apps that are dancing, but the dances are suggestive. And you need to actually make sure they are not on those apps as well. And you find your little 4-year-old doing a dirty wine, and you're like, how did you see that? Yes, so, and then the SIM cards. I don't know why preschool is prescribed by the schools to use tablets, obviously because it's easier for the children to use. But like I will mention, I think it was Linda, if they don't use the desktop, they will not know that this is the mouse, this is the QWERTY, know how to actually type. So we need to transition or have a blend of both. What am I doing to manage? Because we are full-time workers as well, you have to put in the extracurricular activities and make sure they are not so attached because they really become addicted to these devices. So when I'm cooking, you stop all tablets, we're all in the kitchen. Take the dough, it's Play-Doh time. It is gardening time. Even on the YouTube, go to how a butterfly evolves. You need to actually do parenting with technology because if you leave it to the device, they are actually going to bend towards the bad way because there's so many apps and artificial intelligence. It's crazy, it's maddening. I haven't activated Siri or Google Assistant on my phone device, but yet I have a conversation with my husband and next thing I know, I'm getting a search results of everything that I wanted.
Oh, they're listening in every time, every day. So just beware. So
because you have to activate for Zoom with the audio taking their conversations offline. So I actually turn off all devices. By 6 p.m. it's turned off. No more time for that. It's family time before you go to bed. You have to actually do a lot of responsible parenting in the gadgets.
Wow, our time is running. I just want to, and this is very exciting. I think we have to have a second session for this, but because, you know, the focus has been on the children, but I really want to focus on us, the adults in the home as well. Sometimes we are risk, I think we are the risk factors in all of this. But I just want to tell our panelists, those watching us on Facebook Live and those on our Zoom link, please put your questions in on our pages. We are monitoring it. I've seen a few questions that have come in here. And so we'll be taking them. For those attendees that are on the Zoom platform, if you raise your hand, I just need 5 people. We'll elevate you to share your experience. Remember, we're still by the fireside. So I would elevate you to share your experience or ask your questions. If you are a child, please keep your camera off. If you are an adult and you want to share your face with us, we will do that. But let me come back to Kobe, to Fred and Ella. in all of these things. I'm hearing, I know that you guys are very, very, very knowledgeable. But I just want to understand, how are you really using the internet at all? You know, how are you using it? Is it just for entertainment and school, or you're using it for other purposes as well?
Okay. So me personally, I'm a book lover. I love reading. So mostly on the internet, I spend my time reading web novels, mostly Korean or Japanese. I read them. It's better because I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to get my mom to buy the books. It's also more convenient for me because I can download them and then read them at my leisure.
Okay.
My sister.
Is that all you do?
My sister usually spends some time watching.
Ella, what do you use?
For me,
Ella,
I love dancing. So sometimes I love dancing. So sometimes I watch YouTube and learn how to dance.
Okay. Oh wow. Yes, and Fred, are you sure you don't use any online gaming? Because that's another thing I have a big phobia over. So I will share my experience in my own home. You know, because of this phobia, there was a time my husband was away and he wanted to play a game with our son. And so I had to open the pipe a little bit online so they can play their game. And guess what? I locked everything down. So I got a call at work. Why have you locked everything? Why are you not opening? I can't chat with him. I said, nobody should chat with him. If you are chatting with him, it means he can chat with everyone else. Kobe, you're not using, you're not doing PS3 gaming online or any of those things?
I play fantasy games online once in a while.
Once in a while.
But
okay, well, how safe is that? Because I'm very convinced that is one of the unsafest places to be, especially in the gaming world. How safe has that been for you?
Usually I play with a private party. I form a party with my friends.
Good.
So it's just us in like a special server. So no one else can join. It's just me and my friends who play together. That way, no one comes in to make any noise. We know fast. We just play together. That way is the safest for us.
Online, because we're talking about online gaming. I'm coming back to you, techies. Please reduce the language between you and the children. I'm lost. You know, come down to my level. What exactly should we be looking out for? I am not a big fan of gaming. You know, some time ago, I used to love tennis Wii, but I don't even remember the last time. And I'm a very good Mortal Kombat fan, but that is only within my device. I don't play with any other person. But how do we keep ourselves safe, especially when our children want to interact and game online? You know, looking beyond what Kobe said about private games where they know who they're interacting with. I know, for instance, PS3, there are gaming activities where you have to play with other people in order to elevate or grow your team or get to certain levels and all of that. So how do we enable them engage effectively, but at the same time protect themselves?
I think we need to, the point about parental control is still very, very important. So we still need to, as parents, we need to guide what the sort of content that the children or the kids have access to. And that is one of the most important things. Whether we like it or not, we need to do that. So Kobe mentioned, Fred mentioned the games that he plays online. He might have all the controls in there, some of the controls in there, like it's a closed user group, there's a pin that you need to use before you can join and all that. But then, do we know what type of game he's playing as a parent? Do you know what type of game he's playing? Some of the games have been banned because they promote violence. They promote activities that are not in line with a normal what normal society would see it. So a game like warfare, it has things about going into battle, shooting at people, and then it's realistic. You like in the game you behead people and all that, and it's in a way it's inappropriate material for kids and children who are growing up. So even though there might be controls in there that would prevent bad people from getting into such groups, it's still important to select the type of games that the kids have access to. Other games too are used for grooming the kids. So because you don't know who is at the back, like who is on the other side playing with you, that person could use that as a means of trying to groom the kids. So until you know who is behind that screen, if there's no picture, there's no video, then you should assume that the person behind that screen is not the person that you think they are. So the person could say, I'm 15, I'm 16, but the person could be older than that. The person could be somebody who is just masking their identity to get information from the kids. So generally, or from a basic level, even with the content that are the children would have access to online, we still need to, as parents, guide them. We still need to make sure that the controls are in place. We still need to make sure that the timeout feature. So we need to put in place services that are able to do parental control. So I don't want to promote anybody's service, but I can make mention of two services because it's widely used. So for Google, if you use an Android phone, you could use a Google Family Link, or if you use an iPhone or a Mac device, you could use Screen Time, Apple Screen Time. Those parental control applications enable the parents to set time limits and then whitelist for applications or services that the kids have access to. So if I set a time limit of 30 minutes for my child, after 30 minutes, it goes off. They can't have access to anything on the internet. They can only play with the phone in its local state. So those are the things some of the things that we should, as parents, be investing in. And then aside the controls, we also need to be given our time. So even though the controls are there, it is also good to spend time, try and check in on them frequently, because the kids are smart. Like we all have heard on the call, the things they are doing, the areas that they are going to. You give a smartphone to a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, and the things that they can do with that smartphone, you are like, who taught you how to go there? Who taught you how to call this person? Who taught you how to do this? And you're surprised. And that's where we are going to. So it's better we get to that point of controlling what they have access to and then guiding them, rather than just saying we are surprised that they are doing it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Hector. Whilst you were saying, I've seen a question. Someone is asking, I think maybe Linda, if you can respond to this, or Hector or Desmond. Someone is asking, what softwares did you use to set the timers?
I think for me, I use block sites. It's on Google Chrome. So if you just look at your browser on Chrome, because I use Chrome and sometimes I also use, Firefox. So on Chrome, you just go on the tab. You can actually Google block sites, SITES. So that's what I use, and I'm able to schedule their, what they can access, which website they can access, and at what time. I did that because their computers don't have a lot of data. So, it's not something that will be easily compromised in terms of data. And they also have personal email addresses. We thought it was important that you set up a personal email address for them, that anything on school or even their Zoom account, you don't share a Zoom account with the child. So it's we set that up for them, and I think it works. So if you could try it out, there are other sort of Chrome extensions or softwares you could use that could be paid for, but this one I don't pay anything for it, so that's why I went for it.
Wow, thank you so much. Desmond, I'm coming back to you on gaming, but maybe you can also respond to this question around how to put up timers. What kind of, apart from what Linda has said, are there any other applications or tools that we can use to especially put in the timers?
Okay, the easiest, most accessible is to look at the service provider's router. In my case, the MTN TurboNet router has the parental control in there, which allows you to set the timer. The advantage here is you can actually set the timer to the device. So long as the device is not allowed to access internet, maybe between 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., when you connect device to the wireless, it does connect, but you cannot have internet access. So I do that from the router. My service provider is MTN, so that works for me. But I know with the other service providers too, so long as it's a wireless router, it has those features in the settings somewhere.
But I mean, I have a router. I have no clue where to go. And am I going to connect it to some weird computer? Am I going to see black, yellow screen staring at me?
No, if you permit me, I would, I wish I could share my screen. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I think I can share my screen. So just make
sure your screen is safe.
Yes, it's very safe. Okay, so for those of you interested in my password, you can see it here. Thank you. Okay, so now you go to security, I think, and then parental control. Was that very fast? Let me maximize my screen. So you go under the settings, you go to security, you go to parental control, and then you have this here. So all the devices that are connected would have some sort of timer in there. So you can see from here, I can set the days when that exact device can connect and the time at which they can connect. So you can do this from the router. You can also do it with block sites. I've used block sites a number of times. So I know what Linda is talking about. It's a very good tool. It's also free to use.
Yeah,
but the other paid. Sorry.
Yeah, you haven't answered my question. The router is a box that comes to you. You are showing me a screen. Is it that the router has a screen somewhere?
Oh,
exactly.
Okay. So you so okay, good. You try to bully us at the Fireside, but the fire is cool enough. Okay, so what this is that usually under the router device, there is some address there that allows you to go into the router and make changes, which we call configurations. It's usually under the router. I don't know which other router will come without that under it. So you take that address there.
So Desmond, you physically connect a cable to your laptop and the router?
So long as I'm connected to the Wi-Fi. So long as I'm connected to the Wi-Fi, I will be able to connect to the router.
Okay.
But you can put a cable on your laptop to connect to the router as well. But it's not necessary. It's not a prerequisite. So long as you set up the Wi-Fi and your laptop is connected to the Wi-Fi, you can take that address and they have the username and password also there. And then so you log in. I'll advise you to change the default password. Once you are in there, you go to the settings. I think I have to do this again. That's the only way.
You really have to demo this for us, because I tell you,
so I'm back
we
here.
are lost.
I'm back here.
Okay.
So if I were to, okay, so now here in the browser where you usually type the address.
Yes.
Yes, so in my case, I have my IP address is under the device, the number I was talking about. I don't generate them, your router has them. So mine is 192.168.8.1. So when I do this, it loads up. You might be required to log in. I think I've logged in already. That's why I'm able to continue. So when you log in, you go to settings. Now, under settings, I'm interested in you going down to security. It's quite easy to use, so just follow the drill. So under security, you go straight to parental control. I'll tell you something about this domain name filter as well, but first of all, let's deal with parental control. You go to parental control, it loads. Let me maximize it again. Then you get quite pretty simple, straightforward screen. Your devices would have been connected and showing. So you can just add a device if you have to. In this case, let me just show you this. So here, internet access permitted. This is the time setting. So for this Android device, and the user is very troublesome. So we set when when the user can actually use this device on the Wi-Fi. So even though the device is connected, she can actually only use it within this time set here. You can even see that the time that she's almost asleep, and it's still good for me. There's no need to struggle. But that's how it works. Now let's go back to domain name filter, which is also right under the same place. Good. So here you can see blacklist and what? And whitelist, right?
Whitelist.
Awesome. Good. So, I think you are in class, eh? You are winning.
Yes.
So the blacklist is, say you don't want you don't want that particular website to be accessed. So let's say we don't want to use YouTube. I can apply this. It's going to create mayhem in my house. So YouTube, and then you set up on, and then you click OK, and people will start coming down right now to ask what's happening. So what I've done now is YouTube is not going to stream in the house right now. And
I love this. I love this.
And so I have to
right
turn it
now,
off.
I'm going to connect, because I don't think I've done this. But I'm going to change passwords and lock everything in my house.
And you tell them you came to the Fireside and this is what happened.
You have to pay for me to give you access.
So as many websites as you want to block, you can do that, okay? Now, let me explain the whitelist. So whitelist is, when I select whitelist, it means nobody is going to be able to browse any website at all, apart from the ones that I will say you can browse. So that's the difference between the blacklist and the whitelist. So the blacklist, you just deal with it, the ones that you specifically don't want connection to. And then the whitelisting, you block access to all websites and now rather allow the ones that should be used at home. So.
And I would say, are these like standard features that we are likely to find with most service providers?
The new generation routers, that's like between some 2-3 years ago, most of these routers are coming with these features.
Oh, that's great. A parent was just saying, I'm literally taking notes right now. So I think this is exciting. We have a few questions that I want to put back to either you or Hector. How do you block access to downloading from certain sites on either Wi-Fi or phone? I think this really answers that.
The one I showed you.
Yes.
Would
so
do.
Patience, your question was just answered.
Or you can use block sites like Linda said.
Linda also mentioned.
Yeah. And then also the other one. So if you use an Android phone or even an iPhone like a Mac, you could use Google Family Link, or use Apple Screen Time. So
you see what they look like.
So yeah, let me try and
share screen.
Yeah, please let us see. We beg. We need to see it in action. So whilst we're waiting for Hector, I think sorry. Yeah, whilst we're waiting for Hector to get his screens up, let me just read a few comments and questions. From Angela, she says that this has been an interesting discussion. So happy I was able to join. Auntie Awo, how can we spread the good work you are doing to other schools so these children will be educated more and sensitized? Secondly, is there any support we can get from other sources like UNESCO, UNICEF, etc., to support you to scale up? Auntie Awo, this is all yours, so respond to it.
This is us, not.
Awo is by the fireside.
Yeah, so yes, well noted. In terms of the school engagements, yes, we're doing our bit. Oh,
indeed.
We're doing our
there's
bit.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, but there's always not enough to kind of go around. So as much as possible, for me, don't be scared by the technical things that Desmond and Hector are trying to do. As life goes on, that's why they are there. So when we build a relationship with the devices, we should be able to have them to assist us when the need arises. But then as much as possible to, Hector, you did say parental control. I would say parental supervision. Controls has to do with the devices, but then supervision has to do with the human being. So industry players always say parental control, but it's actually parental supervision because the children don't want to hear controls.
Thank you. Kobe, do you want to hear control or supervision from your parents? Kobe and Ella.
Depends on the circumstances.
So when do you want the control? When do you want the control? Tell us. And when do you want the supervision?
Never.
Control. So Ella says she doesn't have, I think you are in the mind of the children indeed. Yeah. So Hector, over to you. Please unmute yourself.
So can you, which of my screens can you see? Can you see the one with the picture?
I'm seeing Google link.
Yes. So
with all kinds of apps there, and I think you've highlighted, yeah.
Yeah. So this is Google Links. You just go to the Android Play Store and you download it. So you download it onto the parent's phone, and then you go onto the child's phone also. If they have a different phone, you download the kid's version onto their phone, and then you set it up. You link them together. So whatever settings you do on the Google Family Link for parents, it reflects on the child's phone. So all the settings, configurations, the limitations, you do it on the parent's app, but then it reflects on the child's phone.
So how do we link the parent's phone to the child's device?
So everything is done on the parent app. So as soon as you are able to link the email address of the, so when you download the application, what you need to do is you need to set it up. So you need to register, do your setup. And then when you download it for the child's phone too, you need to set it up with an email address. So now you link that email address, those two, like the child's email address to yours. So that's how that linkage is done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is for Google, and
Google
then the
links.
other one is for Google Link, Family Link.
Apple Screen Time.
And this is Apple Screen Time. Apple Screen Time, you do not have to download it. It's already part of the operating system for Apple.
Okay.
So you just need to go into the settings and then set it up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hector. Our panelist, I'm wondering whether you still have any questions or comments. We're ready to elevate you to speak your mind here. Remember, we're still by the fireside. I'm not seeing any hands. Are there any hands there or questions?
Okay, whilst we wait, can I make an input on the gaming?
Yes, please.
Okay, so just to add to what Hector said, so in fact, I had to make some points so I don't forget. I think the first thing also that in addition to all that Hector said, we need to add game timeout, because one thing you're also dealing with is, you know, the behavioral nature of how the games influence. So a game timeout will allow the child to go off the game for some time, be productive in other areas before coming back. The next thing is to protect against data diffusion. Data diffusion is basically when they are playing the games, they get the opportunity to share their laurels in the game straight over to social media. And so other people get to see their progress with the game. All these things actually opens them up to.
Desmond, you're muted. You're muted. Sorry.
So
we lost you on the last two sentences.
The last point. Okay, so the last point is that they should be able to block trolls and bullies. So those are the three that I wanted to add to Hector's points, because he did address it extensively. You're muted. Teki, you're muted.
You're muted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Desmond, I was saying that, is it possible to elevate Roland, who is monitoring our Facebook Live page, to bring in the comments and then maybe some questions that are coming in from there? And then I was going back to Fred and Ella. You know, you guys seem to have more knowledge you know, around the access to the right gadgets, what gadgets to use, how safe, you know, what kind of games to play. What would you say to us as parents, you know, in terms of our dealing with you around these issues? We can start with you, Fred, and then you hand over to Ella to also tell us what you want us parents to do within the home environment to make your interaction online more safe and enjoyable.
I think giving us a little bit of free reign might be one of the most important things, because we usually prefer being able to do things freely. Yeah, doing things freely without being too restrained is something we really enjoy. So I think that might be one of the best deciding factors.
But are you guys aware of the risks around that? And how do you think that as parents we can navigate? Because today we are talking about supervision of what you're doing online. Fred, you are 14 years. Ella is 11. You know, we really need to, you're not adults. So as parents, we have to put in some measures of protection. So if you're saying freedom, what kind of freedom are you talking about here?
It's not freedom as in we want to be left alone. I mean, we want to be able to browse without having people breathing down our necks every few seconds.
Okay, but do you also realize that, yeah, can Ella come in? Do you also realize that that space to be able to browse and interact online in the home without anybody breathing down your neck comes with a lot of responsibility? Ella, are you really aware of that? you know, because I'm assuming that
Yes,
you agree with your brother. And what kind of responsibilities do you as children think that you can take on? And how do you build the trust, you know, so that your parents will trust that if you want to go on YouTube and you want to dance using YouTube, you're not going to any other site that you are not entrusted to go. Ella, please tell me, oh, this one, your parents are listening. You're speaking for all children. So it will help us really know how to deal with you.
So I think that if they don't want, so I think they should watch over like what we do after in the evening, after.
Your connection is very bad. Ella, we lost you. Your connection was a bit bad. Can you say that again?
So I said that if you want to see maybe what we do on the internet, maybe after one day or something, when it's in the evening, you can check the history on our Chrome or any website in general and see what we've been doing.
Generally, I think my understanding that I'm getting is that, you know, and likewise, they really need that space and independence to develop and grow, but they are asking for some reasonable level of supervision. I'm coming back. Roland, do we have any comments from online?
Yes, please, we do.
Okay, kindly walk us through it, and then I'll come to Linda. How would your parents, then Elizabeth, if you can react to it? The children are saying we should give them free range so that they can play, well, reasonable supervision, as Auntie Awo called it, you know. So I'll come back to you. Think about what kind of space should we be giving them? Is this going to be based on age? You know, so just give us some kind of guidance. And whilst they are talking, you also should be thinking around, because we have children with various age ranges. So what is appropriate for who and what age? How do we go around all this? So Roland, I'm on you now. Just tell us what those on Facebook are saying.
So actually, most of our comments on Facebook are suggestions.
Okay.
Most are suggestions. There are no questions over here. So I'll read some of the questions, suggestions. So Lisa Olympio is saying desktops are better than tablets for toddlers, what she's saying. And Frederick Square is also suggesting that Norton family helps protect our children during this era where every child is on the internet, and it also helps you to check their logs and also have the firewall to block websites as well. So there are a lot of comments over here. So one from Kevin Bolton. One of the biggest problems is how to COVID. Tablets were used for entertainment. Now kids are being told to use it for educational purposes. It's a strange transition for them. Yeah, so there are lots of comments over here.
Oh, Roland, I think when we have a bit more time, we'll come to you. Linda, you've heard what Fred and Ella representing the children are saying to us as parents. What are your reactions to that?
Sorry, my lights went out a bit, so I went out for maybe 5 or so minutes. But I'd say yes. I think we need to work hand in hand with the young people who are called digital natives. This is the only communication platform they know of. This is what they have grown up with. The rest of us were introduced to computers. We went to study computers like at a college. I don't know about your country, but here in Kenya, you'd get done with maybe class 8, which is like, I don't know what the equivalent is, like matric in South Africa. And then now you have, when you clear your degree or your diploma. So people will go and get to study then about computers, and that will be your first interaction with a computer. But now we have children, especially privileged children, that, sorry, my connection is unstable, but you have
but
now.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Right. Thank you. Now we have children who are digital natives. This is what they have grown up knowing. And about gadgets and even habits. The more you use something, the better even you are at it. My hope and dream is that we don't limit and put children in a straitjacket where they have a lot of don'ts. Don't do this, don't do that, I was reading the book by what's this guy's name? He used to spy and Snowden, sorry.
Snowden.
I was reading Snowden's book, and the stories he gives from, his childhood, where the guy was playing with a computer, coding, and that was a long time ago, And so by the time you're both going to college, he is way better than you. He doesn't need that college degree. And his dreams are more clarified, at that point. For you, just know I want to do computer science. He already knows what he needs to do, within computer science. It's like people going for PhD, they don't understand exactly what questions they want to, prod in their research or in their thesis. So I think that's what we need to do. Just trust children and trust that once you give them the, given that capacity, they'll be able to make better choices. You can continue to monitor, but let's use the digital world to escalate their dreams, to make sure that they dream way beyond. I had an opportunity during the Elon Musk going into space with the SpaceX. And my kids watch that launch and they keep asking, when are we going to space? And I'm like, we can't afford it. And someone said, so you need to stop telling them you can't afford it. You need to start thinking through, okay, their generation have seen that launch. They want to go into space, how do we make it their reality? Because that's their reality. There are no impossibilities. I think that's how we can help the next generation and help dream them through these careers and not just put them in a straitjacket.
Okay. Elizabeth, I don't know if you want to make a comment about, Kobe and Ella's position. They want space. Linda is saying we need to give them the space in the home to dream and to grow and to become relevant in today's world. How do you think you can do that, enable that as a parent online without necessarily, putting in place controls that will limit them?
All right. So you'll recall I mentioned my younger set of children are between the age of 2 to 6. It's a technology era, and you need to add good parenting, supervision and monitoring from this early stage, because a 2-year-old is already very tech savvy and knows where she wants to go and what she does not want. So hopefully by Ella's and the young man, Kobe, by 11 and 14, yeah. I presume they would have taken the good path and disciplined themselves to understand choose between good and bad. And that's what I'm hoping as a parent. And frankly, early teens, they know how to manage their time. They have a lot of workload from school. They have expectations. So I believe with good parenting and technology as it is, children at that early stage should be given a little room, but occasionally you pop in and monitor and supervise, yes.
Okay, so essentially you're saying charity begins at home. Train a child the biblical way, right? Train a child the way it should go, and when they grow, they will not depart from it. We hope they will not depart from it.
My older children have shown that, so they're very good, and yes, I'm very proud of them. We've been good parents so far.
Well, we hope for the best. I think that the scary thing for me in all of these is that, realistically, a lot of us working parents do not have the time. We are being chased all over by work. We're leaving our children at home to be raised by third parties, house helps, and to some extent to be trained by these online tools, apps, and all kinds of things. what do you think of all these? And I'm coming back to the whole range of course, in the home, we have parents there, but I think the children are very important in the home, setting where there are children. So how do we adequately protect them? You've heard from Elizabeth. She has 2 all the way to 22, who I would say is no more a child, right? We've seen Fred and Ella that are between the 10 and then 14 years, 15 years. We have a whole range of children. So where do we start, and what kind of space are we giving to these various age groups?
Is that me?
No, that's for our.
I will. Okay.
Yeah. So for what I would say is this: there's a need for us to create a balance, right? We keep emphasizing protection, but I want to also introduce the fact that there's a need for provision, and provisioning leading to effective participation. So we can protect the children. The provision aspect of things has to do with the skills gap that we need to fill. More than 50% of cybersecurity issues are more like attitudinal. So if I am provisioned enough to understand things, like Ella and the brother had said, the provision should be there for them. They should know where to report to, how to report. The system should just be made child-friendly in such a way that the frailty of children will not be compromised. So we can protect them, but there's a limit we could do that. So let's provide for them digital skills, digital use. What are the basic things? What are the things they need to know? If we do that, we would end up having children whom we wouldn't have to look over our shoulders when they are participating in a digital space, because they know what being kind online means. They know what respect means online. They are responsible online, and they have the resilience. So they use their brain in clicking on things, not just clicking, but they think properly before they click. So for me, we can protect them, but let's provide in order for them to be effective participants in the space. This is where we have now. There's nothing anybody can do about it. We only have to do the needful. So the 3 P's for me, we are protecting them, but let's get them empowered so they can participate. And that empowerment should come from the provision we make for them. It's not to say that we should always put things at their disposal. Dialoguing with children should be fun for us by now. If it is not fun for you, then there's a problem. We need to be having the on and off thing. Okay, so why do you need this or no? But for this age, and we know that there are age limits for everything. So they know before 13, they cannot be on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram. Before 16, they can all be using WhatsApp, but everybody is breaking the law now. So our below 16-year-olds are using WhatsApp for their classes, and it's so embarrassing. This platform providers put the age limitation at 16, but we parents, because we don't want to be disturbed, we leave them, we give the devices to them. Even 10-year-olds are using WhatsApp, but we should be mindful of all those things and also play our part. So protection, fine, but there should be provisioning and there should be participation.
much, everyone. There's been a lot of learning. I'm not going to try and summarize this, just to read a few comments. As parents, we need to learn, we need to evolve with the times. Monitoring is important, but parents need to learn to use the technology and be abreast with their children as well. I mean, the whole conversation has been around online safety at home. And I'm not surprised this conversation is honing in on children, because I think that those are the highest risks when we look at our online interaction in the home. I will come round to all our speakers. Just give us two takeaways, values. You know, we are by the fireside, right? So all of these stories and learnings, what are the key things that we should take away? And I'm going to give each of us a minute, starting with Ella, then Fred, and then I will move on from there. So please give us some key values that we should take around the online safety, that we should keep with us. At least if we don't remember anything at all, you should help us remember this. So let me just quickly move around. Fred, you can tell us, you know, maybe a word or two that you want us to keep with us.
Yeah, so I think the most important thing that we should keep in mind is that not everything we do is safe, even online. No matter what safeguards we use, there's always a chance that there's a risk. So one can never beat.
Thank you very much. Coming from a child, I think this is really eye-opening. Ella, what would you say to us?
I would say, just to be safe on the internet, I think that you should, after the whole day, or when you're done using your gadget, you should check the history of your browser, and also you should try your best to protect your whichever gadget you're using from antivirus.
Ella says protect your gadgets. Elizabeth, what are the key takeaways that you're giving us? One word.
One word. Parents should learn the technology with the times and give their children little room, manage them, supervise, and learn the apps as they come along. And yes, go to the blog sites. I'm learning Desmond's thing now, and limit the internet from the back end. Block the time and tell them, oh, the internet has run out.
I know.
Stay with the times.
Is that a word? Is that a word?
I know, right? I had to rattle it out.
Linda,
take you so naughty.
Remember, the children are listening too, so they know what you are doing. So you can't lie to them again. Linda, what are you?
I don't know. I think my conclusion would be to work hand in hand with the children, you know, get to learn, as Elizabeth has said, get to learn with your kids. I'm looking forward to, you know, my kids hacking my phone, my system, you know, and me hacking theirs. I want to, you know, I want to still be in vogue when
you're
they grow up.
You're very brave. I don't know. I think my phone can be hacked. I don't think I'll get to that level. I'll probably call somebody to go and snoop in on them, and that person is staring me in the face. So, what would you tell us in all of these key takeaways that we should keep with us?
I believe that it's been established that we need to work with the children. So in this regard, what do they need? Not what they want or what we want for them. What do they need? So they need us to provide them with the requisite information and skills. Then they can participate effectively. And remember, teams, talk with them, engage in the space or explore the space, agree with them, manage the settings with them, and then continue the settings, the security settings.
Thank you. Our strategic plan for the whole online safety. Don't forget your teams. Talk, engage, agree, and manage. It's a cycle. I think for all those people connected, I'll be coming to your homes to see what's your strategic plan, whether it has been implemented. So Hector, you know, last but not, oh, you're not the last. Okay. Hector, so what are you giving us, you know?
So I think the parents should talk to their kids. So some time back, our parents told us, don't talk to strangers. It should be applied also online. Don't talk to anybody you don't know online. And such advice that was given to us way back can also translate into advice for like in this day and age. And then also would encourage the parent to also take a keen interest in knowing what their children are looking at on their phones. They shouldn't just hand over the phones to them and then that's it. No, they should take a keen interest in knowing what their kids want to get to know on using their phones. Yeah.
You were a very good child then, because I don't remember, I used to love to talk. So anybody that would talk to me, I think I would just go on and on and on and on. So I don't know, but I think it's still a key, you know, a relevant advice that you have given us. Our children should know not to interact with strangers online. You know, anybody that they don't know online is essentially a stranger. So they should be taught not to interact with them. Desmond, last but not the least.
One thing, what my mom did was she got me a very old desktop computer. They didn't set it up. It was just in a box. And then when she goes to work, I don't know whether she was expecting me to go and fix that thing up and then play with it. I was always doing that. Before she comes back from work at 6, I've dismantled everything, put it back.
And put it back.
Yeah. So I think all that prevented me from going out to even speak to people. So maybe
if you were not online then. If
no,
you were,
not online.
you probably have connected online in one way. Okay, Desmond, your takeaways that you're sharing with us.
Okay, so I would say that we actually live in a digital life. We have more smarter kids now. And so, yes, like everybody said, a collaborative approach. The solution is not only in technology. I think we also need to manage behavior, and we also have to tone down our expectations. Particularly about me, in my home, I'm sure if I take water out of there, I probably will be paying more on internet as a utility than even on electricity, because everybody sits around it, from school to entertainment. I mean, everybody's life is on the internet. You have a 3-year-old who actually tells you, the internet is finished. That's how serious it gets. So you need to actually bring them to the table and let everybody understand the dangers and how you can navigate it as a family. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So from me, I think I've learned so much. But one thing that I will say is that the home environment, in as much as we want to also engage online, you know, there are some side effects to long engagements using all these gadgets. So we should beware, and, you know, as Desmond has taught me, I'm definitely going to lock people out just so they can get out more. So let's limit the online time within the home. And it's not just for the children, it's also for the parents. You know, let's spend more time interacting with each other and developing. And just to end this all, it's been a very amazing and exciting evening. And like I mentioned, this is the first of the kind. Our next one is purely going to be about child online protection. And we're going to talk to only children. Only children. We really want to get to understand them, get into their heads, and a few experts to help them navigate the challenges that they face as children online. So please follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn pages for more information on our Fireside conversation, as well as other events that we have as Africa Digital Rights have. I think if our panelists can all put on their, you know, cameras, if they've switched it on, except the children, if they switched off, and then we'll just wave to all our attendees. I just want to express my sincere thanks to all of you, especially Linda. I know it's about 11 a.m. 11 p.m. right in Kenya right now. And so thank you so much for joining us, and have a good night. And thank you, everyone. And we look forward to having you another time soon for another fireside chat. It's been a very amazing evening. Thank you, and go enjoy your Fridays. Now you can go for your drinks. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right. That was a good one. Congratulations.
Okay.
We nailed it.
Okay.
So
recording has stopped.
Recording is ongoing. Let me stop it now.
Okay. Can you take everyone off?
Recording has stopped.
Except